evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita, and I am the event planner for Microsoft Reactor India. This session will run over the next 60 minutes, including Q&A. But before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat section will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. So please feel free to drop all your questions in the chat section. I would now like to welcome our speaker for today's session, Bhargavi and Kamalashri. Bhargavi is a senior software engineer with 5 years of experience in C Sharp, Python, machine learning, Microsoft Azure Power Platform, deep learning, and chatbot designing technology. She holds an MTech degree from BITS Pilani College and is a Microsoft MVP with more than 6 certifications from Microsoft, including Microsoft Certified Data Scientist Associate and Microsoft Certified Trainer. Our next speaker, Kamala Shri, is a developer advocate at Microsoft. She is a Google developer expert with 12 years of experience in web technologies, Android, Flutter, and Harmony OS. But for now, let me bring Kamal into the stream.
Hey Rashmita, thank you so much.
Hey, Kamal. Hi. How are you doing?
All good. I'll get up to go ahead with another episode on Copilot Chronicles.
Awesome. Stage is all yours. I'll be at the backstage. Over to you now.
All right, thank you so much, folks. Apologies. Today the camera is not working. Does not seems to be cooperating with me. But anyway, since it's a live stream, all we are looking is for information and how much insight we get in today's agenda. So without further ado, thank you so much for the overwhelming response that we are getting from the Copilot Chronicles. A lot of questions, a lot of suggestions, feedback. I'm really excited to let you know that this is going to be a weekly series going forward, and you will definitely see a variation in the topics that we discuss, industry experts. Um, and yeah, looking forward for more exciting talks in this Copilot Chronicles. And today we have another awesome MVP, Bhargavi. I think I don't want to give an intro about it. Rashmita has done a wonderful job giving a very detailed update on her profession and the kind of work she does for the community. So I'll just give you a touch base on what she's gonna cover today. So this is a little bit of deviation, but still we maintain that Copilot stuff. So she's going to talk about the benefits, or I would say even the fundamentals of Power Platform, whether it's Power Apps and Power Automate, and how it's kind of helping Copilot in the best practices for building more efficient and powerful applications on Power Platform. So here you're going to kind of leverage the Copilot assistant to streamline your development process and optimize performance. Because at the end of the day, this is what you want to do, right? Using it, it's just not you're going to try something and explore, but at the same time, you want to kind of streamline your development process and optimize your performance. So let's see what Bhargavi's got us today. So welcome, Bhargavi. The stage is all yours. Please go ahead and yeah.
Thank you, Kamal, and thank you, Rakshita, for all the welcome and giving this opportunity. With that, uh, the agenda for today's session would be like we would be seeing how do we handle uh, Copilot with the help of uh, po- inside the Power Platform for Power Apps and the Power Automate. And before I get into the today's session, let me give a brief introduction of myself. I am CR Bhargavi, working as a senior software engineer for Ford, and I'm a Microsoft MVP and Microsoft certified trainer, and I do hold more than 6 certifications from Microsoft and a global speaker, blogger, and author at C Sharp Corner. And this is my LinkedIn page. Feel free to get in touch with me for um, any kind of questions related to Power Apps or Azure AI. I can help you with that. With that, The agenda for today's session would be like we would be seeing what is AI Copilot, and we would also be seeing an introduction of the AI builder, such that how does it impact the AI Copilot, and we would also be touch basing on the Power Platform introduction, such that we can understand what does this AI Copilot mean, and what does this AI Copilot along with the Power Platform do, and what are the prerequisites that are needed for the AI features that are there inside the Power Platform. And we would also be seeing a demo along with it. We would be seeing the benefits of the Copilot in the Power Automate along with the Power Apps, and the role of Copilot in the Power Automate and the Power Apps. So, and at last, I would be taking up the questions. So, Power Platform is something which is not new for now. And to give an introduction of it, it is a combination of various services, which is a low code, no code platform that spans Microsoft 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, and many standalone applications in it. Like there are different kind of services which are available, like Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Pages, Power BI, and Power Apps is like used for doing the application development, wherein it can be either of mobile or web development that can be done inside it. And Power Automate is something like wherein we can have the robotic process automation or the digital process automation being done with it. And we can add automations which are there, and make the logic more simpler and can be automated with the simpler steps using the Power Automate. And Power Pages is like used for connecting the external websites. Like earlier we had been using the various languages to build the websites, right? And now with the help of Power Pages, the low code no code platform would be helping us, and we can have the websites being built within a matter of more than not more than 1 hour or 2 hour, and that can be done. And Power BI is something which is commonly used, and that's a business analytics tool wherein we use it for analytics purposes. And with all these, we have different kind of data connectors that are available. Like you can connect it to different data that are available, and uh, connect it to various applications. And you also have AI builder being available with it, which enforces the use of AI inside the Power Platform, wherein you don't have to have much coding knowledge of AI, or you don't have to have ML knowledge as well. Rather, we can go ahead and kickstart with the development of AI inside the Power Platform is what the AI builder enforces on. And Dataverse is something like which is very similar to data tables, but it's used under the Power Platform, and it's something like used to store the data between the Power Platform. So out of these, what does this low code no code platform means is like it is something that enforces even if we don't know coding inside the development of, either it can be building applications or automation or building websites or building an analytics tool. We can still get the things being done inside the requested time. So that's where the low code no code platform plays a major role. And what does this Power Platform along with the AI do is something which is not very new as well. Like um, having a AI inside the Power Platform was there since 2019. Like the AI builder was there since 2019. And what's there something new something new inside the Power Platform that had come in inside the recent the time the AI Copilot, which has been evaluated inside the Power Platform. And what does this AI do inside the Power Platform is like we can have Copilot inside the Power Apps, or Copilot inside the Power Automate, or Copilot inside the Power Virtual Agent, which is something called as Copilot Studio right now. Or we can have the AI Builder, which has already been there since 2019, right? And we can also integrate the Azure OpenAI services into the Power Platform as well. So these are some things which had come when we want the AI to be integrated with all the things of Power Automate. And what does this AI and low code do is something like we can have Power Platform is something that transfers the application for the pro developments, right? And what does this AI do is something like it accelerates the innovation with the help of the low code no code tool, and it also helps the developers to speed up the process and unleash the creativity with the help of the copilot. And it also helps across the Power Platform which is there, and it has been kind of like it adds in value even when we don't know the Power Platform as such. Or if we want to build an application or automation from the scratch, we don't have to spend much time on it, and it rather reduces the time that what we try to do inside the low code no code platform is all that mean for AI that had come in inside the low code no code platform that is there right now for the Power Platform. And what's this AI Copilot, which is something different from the other copilots which are there? And what's inside it? Uh, it's also a AI pair programmer which is available, and it's one of the copilot that has been available by the Microsoft. We have different kind of copilots, right? Like we have GitHub Copilot, and then we have Copilot Studio, and then we also have many kinds of Bing Copilot, and we have many kinds of Copilot that are available. And AI Copilot is something which is available uh, under the Power Platform umbrella, and which is for the Power Apps and the Power Automate, and which is used for suggesting and writing the automations as well as the applications based on the context that what we try to provide, and it would be giving you back with the result of whatever the data that what it has been trained with the help of the pre-trained language model that it had been trained on. And it is something which has been developed in collaboration with the OpenAI, and it also has been available across the Power Platform, wherein it would be having the various data being trained with it, and it would be giving you back with the results for it. And what something new is like you can build in an application, or edit it, or even give some prompts over it, and all your application or automation can be done with the help of just one prompt that what you try to give in as well. Like you don't have to you don't have to build the application from the scratch such that it would be giving you back with the results of uh, results of the whole application with the help of just the prompts that are there with it. And how does the Power Platform AI Copilot has been built is like it has been built with the help of the LLM models that are there. Say in case we are we are giving in an prompt which will be saying like when an email arrives with the help of the invoice file and that contains an invoice file in it, we should be starting and waiting for the approval for that invoice file is what something that what we try to give in as a prompt. And what does this llm do is like we whenever the prompt gets in, that would be hitting it back, and with the help of the model it would be returning you back with the result of the whole flow that needs to be developed for the power automate, and it would be giving you back with the result for the flow. And it is the same thing that happens for the power automate as well. So sorry, power apps as well. Like when we given the prompt, then that would be hitting it back with the llms, and it would be building up the whole application as a whole, and it would be returning back with the results that are needed for it. So this is how the whole power platform AI Copilot works with the help of the llm model. And what does this prompt? We had been speaking that we should be giving something as input with the help of prompt, right? So prompt is something like with which has been used for instructing the AI model to do something, and that would be given as input. What happens here is like the NLP concept that involves to discovering prompts, and that would be yielding the useful results that are there. And when it deals with different kind of prompts, then that becomes the prompt engineering as a whole, and that's one of the um, trending one as well. Like many of the opportunities are there for the prompt engineers, and there are many jobs which are open for the prompt engineers as well in market right now. And this totally depends on how precise your prompt is, and you would be getting the results more precise as well. Like it would be directly proportional of your prompt versus your result. And the prompt can be of text to text, or text to image, or text to audio, or text to video as well. And wherein inside the AI Copilot we just have the text to text for now, and we had been we can give the text, and it would be returning you back with the apps and the flows that are needed. So, what does this prompting method do is like there are four different kind of prompting methods that are there. One is like instruction, completion, question, and fine tuning. So, to understand how do we do the how well we code uh, inside the input of either it can be of power apps or power automate, we should understand like what are the prompting methods that are available. Like it is a back end of it, wherein if we understand that, then whatever the things that what we do inside the power apps or power automate would be very easy. Like we can either give it as instruction, like it can be of translate from English to German, kind of the thing that what we try to do. And completion is something like when we want to get from the model, like if we wanted to an application to be developed as such, or the automation to be developed, then we will go ahead with the completion mode. And if we are questioning something like what does this flow do, or how does this application being built, then that becomes the questioning method inside the AI Copilot. And fine tuning is something like when you provide the model with the input, or when you have the ability to train the model with more data that what you have, then that becomes the fine tuning method. So these are the four different types of methods that are there inside the AI Copilot, and with which with playing around all these methods, we can build apps or automations very easily. And what methods do we have to do, like the best practices that what we have to follow inside the prompt engineering is like the input that what we try to give has to be very precise, like it has to be a clear instruction. And if you wanted to do as a whole, like when you wanted to build an application or when you want to build an automation, you have to split the task that what it tries to do, and you have to split based on the subtask that what it tries to do, and you have to uh, you have to give the prompts based on that way. And you also have to have the instruction being done like such that the model is always on the task. Like if you are asking for certain application to be built, you have to verify once that if the prompt that what you had given and it had also given the response is aligned and such that it is on track of it and does not deviate from the task that what you had given. Also, there is a way that explain the whole flow that what you had created as well, and we should be using that particular thing such that we understand the application that what it had tried to develop for us. And we can also understand that we had some if it had gone somewhere wrong, and even if we don't know applications to be built or the automations to be built, then we have that option to explain, and from there we can get the answers, right? So we can make use of that. We should also ask for justification, like if there are any possible ways that like why not this way, and why is it followed this way, is something of that sort has to be questioned back to it, such that if it finds that way to be a better option, then that would be developing your application or automation in that way, and it would be returning you back with the results, and you can choose a best out of all the results that are there. And you can also verify the hallucination whether it had given a good one or not, and you can also provide the feedback to it such that it has been fine tuned and gets a better performance out of it. So these are some of the ways that needs to be followed as part of the prompt engineering process that are there. And some things that what we need to have as part of the controlling the output is like you should be specific on the prompts that what you try to provide inside the prompt window that is being available. And you should also check whether whether the if you are requesting it for teams to be connected, and then it has to connect with the teams and it should not be connecting it with the SharePoint, is something like the audience control that what it has to follow as well. And if we also have to maintain a polite response being returned to it, and if it can be in the point of bullets or paragraph and such that it understands better, then that would be a better one as well. And we should also have a context control, like even if we want to add something more to it, and we uh, if we are confused to a point and it tries to confuse you even more further, then you have to stop at that level and has to verify whether it had given based on the scenario. And you also can have scenario based guiding for it, and can have the few short learning, which is like from the old one it can learn. And you can you can provide feedbacks to it, and from there it can learn as well. And these are some of the ways that what you can try to control your output, that if your results has to be in a good way. Like we had been saying, right? And AI builder is not something new inside the Power Platform. It has already been an available component which is there inside the Power Platform. And what does this AI builder do is like, it brings up the power of artificial intelligence to the business user and the citizen developers that are there. And it is part of a low code no code platform which has been done, and that's been available under the Power Apps and the Power Automate, and which also offers the pre-built AI model. Pre-built AI model is something like which has been readily available, and you don't have to train the model going forward. And custom built model is something like when you want to train a model and that has to be done, then you would be going with the custom model building. And what's there something new inside the AI builder is like, with the help of AI Copilot, you can also generate the you can also generate the GPT models being like, you can provide the prompts and it can return you back with the results of GPT model. Like the results will be from the GPT model, and it can be like the way that what you try to do inside the chat GPT. And that that possible thing has been included as part of the AI Copilot, wherein when you want to add the features of the Copilot being done inside the AI builder, then that's possible too. So it brings a seamless integration with the models, different kind of models that are already been there, and you can also build a model of your sort, and can be done with both those types as well. What does this architecture of the AI Copilot do is like, whenever the user starts providing in the prompts for automation or applications inside the Power Automate, what happens is like, it would be hitting the Copilot, and Copilot has been trained with the help of OpenAI along with the Bing searches, right? So what it would be doing is like, it would be getting the value which are there from the large language models, and it would be returning you back with the results of the suggestions that what the user needs. And if he or she is okay with it, then they can proceed with the suggestion. Say in case if we are building an application, and it would be providing by itself inside the prompt window that these are few of the steps that what is there. And if we click on the proceed button over there, then it would be building the application as such, and it would be returning you back with the result of it. And if you want to do some suggestion over there, say in case it had built an application, but you need to modify few of the tables which were already been developed. So what we would be doing is like, we would be changing it in the prompt window, which would be available after the application has been built. And from there it would be taking up the suggestions and providing the suggestions back to you. And it you can also provide it few suggestions like, this can be done in that way, and that is also been accepted by the Copilot, and it would be returning back to the Copilot, and the user can have the user interface being done, and from there they can start using the AI Copilot. So This is the overall architecture of AI Copilot. And if you don't understand of any of these steps yet, I would be showing the same things that what we see in the dry part right now inside the demo as well. And I would also be showing few suggestions over there, like what can be done and how can we develop an application or automation inside the Power Automate, and from there you can understand that part. So what does this AI Copilot uh, do is what something that what we saw, right? And we had been speaking about this AI Copilot. To enable this AI Copilot, what we have to do is like we have to have an environment inside the US region, and that should also be like inside the United States, and that should be of browser language English. And when we navigate inside the admin center settings, then we would be seeing the copilot in Power Apps or Power Automate to be enabled or not. And from there we can enable the AI Copilot, and from there it gets started using on. So, what are the some of the benefits that are available inside the Copilot when we have the Power Platform? Is like, as we know that Power Platform is a low code, no code platform as a whole. What does this AI Copilot do? Is something like it accelerates the automation flows and suggestions even more faster, such that we don't it makes us to it makes us in a way that even if we don't know any of the application or automation to be developed, then it provides us a way that it is being done even more faster. Also, it reduces the error that are there. Say in case when we want to identify and correct errors inside the application or flows, then we can use the Copilot, and with the help of that we can reduce the error, is something that what the Power Platform can do as well. And when we want the productivity to be increased, say in case when we want a high level design and a problem solving solution to be in production within days, then we should have a enhanced productivity, right? So for that case, again, like Copilot can build in within few minutes, and that can get it solved as well. Like, even if we don't know any of the application or automation to be developed, then with the help of AI Copilot documentations which are there, we can still go ahead and do the development as well. And these are some of the things that what we try to do inside the Copilot. And how does this AI Copilot protect our data inside the Power Platform? Is something like Copilot has already been trained with the model of with the large language models that are there, and the prompts that whatever you try to take in are the data that what it tries to store from the Dataverse or Azure or Microsoft Graph and other Microsoft sources that are there. And what does this Microsoft do is something like it does not use any of your data that what you try to give in, and it is something like the data that doesn't get used to train the LLM models, and the models are not being leaked outside as well. So all your data is within the umbrella and does not go outside of the umbrella as well. So all the data that whatever you try to give in is fully protected and does not go outside of it. So I'm skipping all those parts and skipping into the demo part, such that we understand the we understand the Power Apps and Power Automate in detail. So to get the Power Apps and Power Automate, we need to have the subscription being done, right? And once we have the Power Apps and Power Automate subscription, then what we have to do is something like we should get navigate ourselves to the admin center which is there. So when we get navigated to the admin center, what we would be doing is like we would be creating an environment inside the US region. So we would give a name, and then we would also be creating the region to be as US, and um, we would create a environment under the US. Once that is done, I had already created, so I'm not recreating it again. Once you had created it, you can see on what URL, and then region and everything can be visible when you open on the environment over there. And once that is all done, when you navigate inside the settings, inside the admin center, you can see at the top that Copilot in the Power Apps preview will be there. And you can check it on, and when you click on save, then that gets saved, and you can see the prompt window that is there will be available for the Copilot once being enabled as well. Like, I can show up the difference that is there. Like, the prompt window that is there will not be available for the ones which does not have the Copilot being enabled, such that when we have the prompt window being available, then it means that we have enabled the Copilot, is what the whole thing means. And um, and when we want to start typing in, then what we can do is like, say in case when we want to collect the RSVPs for a meeting that happens, then what we can do is like, um, it prompts you with few suggestions. Say in case, create an application. When you start typing in, then that gets typed up, like, it would be typing in, and from there you can go ahead and use it. Or if it's already available with the help of the ones that are listed, then you can still go ahead and use that as well. Like, we have this, when we want to have the collect RSVP, then we had given it. Say in case, we had never given any kind of data that has been loaded to it, right? Like, in the earlier case, we would have to give the data that has been stored under the dataverse being loaded to it, or any of the data that is being loaded to it. And from there, all the table name and the column names also should be in the format that what it tries to expect as well. But what happens inside the Copilot is something like, even if you are trying to give the datas which is of something like, the datas that are there unloaded, like the table name or column name doesn't been loaded with it, it still identifies with the name of it, and then it would be processing a name for it, and you can still go ahead and change the name that are there. Also, if you want to add some column to it, say in case add technology, then we still can have option being given to it, and from there it would be adding in over here. Let it load. We saw until guest, right? So technology is something that has been added right now, and that so that it's not something that you can modify only at the starting, and you can also modify whenever the flow or application starts flowing in as well. Like when we are okay with it, then we are creating an application for it. And when an application is being created, what happens is like it would be connecting the data that this is something that what the data that what we have not provided to it, right? So what happens at behind the scenes is like it would be connecting the data that what we had tried to give right now with the dataverse, and that is being loaded inside the dataverse, and it would try to give you with the results that are there here, and it would be returning you back with the flow of whatever the things that what you need. And it would also create the properties and everything that are needed for it, uh, within a matter of minutes or two, and it would be returning you back with that. So, say in case this is the whole thing, let us preview the application that what it had tried to build on. So this is the application that what it had tried to build on, and from there, when we want to change something, say in case we don't like anything or something has to be done, then what we can do is like we can we want to order it. We want to either order it, or we want to either select it as a whole and want to add few columns on it, then that's possible too. What we can do is like it would be giving you with few suggestions on the right side when you see on it. So what we can do is something like we can add a text label, or we can delete it, or when we had added it, then, and if that needs to be undoed as well, then that's possible. And when we want to get the description of, yeah, when we want to get a description out of it, then we can still go ahead and get the results out of it. And the documentation part is something that what it tries to do is also being possible. And if this wants to be added with, uh, say in case when we want to like if we have a number option being available, and when we want to order it, then that's possible too with help of the prompts that what we try to give in here. And then when this particular thing has been selected, and when we click on it, and when we want to add some data to it, then that gets the data being added. Or if we click on any of the parts that are there, and we still can have the edit option being available to each one of it, and from there it can add the even to the field level of the things that are there. We still can go ahead with the help of the copilot that is being available. And the only option that what you have to do is something like you have to select the container over there, and select the gallery, or the the lower level that what you want to change on. And from there, when you start typing in the results, start typing in the prompt that what you want, then it would be returning you back with the results that what it needs to what you need it as well. And when we have done with all the flows, then what we can do is something like uh, we can um, we can publish it with the help of the publish option that is there at the top. And when we are okay with it, then we can get the application being done, and we can publish the publish this version. And once this has been published, we can share the uh, we can share the application and get that sorted out as well. And these are some of the things that what we can try to do inside the Power Apps with the help of AI Copilot, which is there. And for enabling the AI Copilot inside the Power Automate, it is the same steps that what we try to do. So we would be navigating to the admin center, and we would be checking in whether the whether whether the Copilot and Power Apps has been enabled. And once that is done, then we would be getting the automations being done here. The prompt window being available here as well. Say in case if we want to develop an automation, and if we are clicking on it, then it would be giving you with the suggested flow that is there. And if we aren't okay with the suggestion, then we still can have it like uh, we can give it a this is not I'm looking for, and it immediately changed the whole flow, and it had given me with the suggestion of it. So if we are okay with it, then we can go ahead and choose the next option, and uh, we can get the applications being connected. Say in case if we are using OneDrive to connect it get it connected, then it prompts for the OneDrive for business to be connected. Or if we are getting the Teams, then it by itself prompts that the connections that are needed for the application and the services being established, it would be creating a flow as such. And from there, when we click on create, it would create the whole flow as such. Say in case if we aren't using the Copilot, then what we have to do is like we have to get the OneDrive being connected, and each of these steps has to be done with the help of the add action or add a parallel branch over there. And from there we have to add it manually, such that it creates as a template. And from there it just prompts you to provide the folder alone over there. And if the folder is being selected, and for the function level as well, what it does is like it helps you with the dynamic content that has been there. And when you start typing in, then the prompt will help you then the Copilot will help you with the functions that what you try to create it over there. And from there you can get it used is something that is been available for now as well. And when we go to the for each, say in case for each of the mail that what we for when we want to change something like when the for each condition has to be changed. The for each condition is something like get mail context, and then only it is creating a file, right? So I am creating a file. I don't create a file for each of the context is something that what I try to modify on, and such that we can see whether the modify code over there works or not is something that what we can try to do with the actions as well, like the various changes that what we can get sorted out as well. And if we want to and it also prompts us with the various connection that needs to be established on the Copilot window that has been available. And it when we get it sorted out, then it will automatically prompt us with the various steps that it needs to follow with the help of the AI Copilot. And when we click on the right side, then it also provides us with the option that we can either add an action. And that's something like when we click on it, and it would be adding the wordings for yourself, and from there you can just type in the prompt that what you need, and from there you can get proceeded with it as well. And when we want to explain the whole action, say in case we were discussing on the documentation part, right, and we have to get the justification part that needs to be followed, and this is where it plays a major role. Like, we had asked in a justification to it, like explain what does this get file content action does in this flow, is something that what we try to ask in, and it has given a content that what it had tried to do. And if it's something deviates, or if we don't know anything out of Power Automate, and if we are trying to learn, then we can learn, or we can change the flow as expected, is something that this documentation will work on. And if we want to replace an action with a different file, then we have to select a particular thing, and when we click on a particular thing, and when we click on the replace file content, then what happens is like it gives you with all the prompts, that almost all the prompts, and you just have to give the name or the flow that what it has to do alone over there, such that the coding part becomes so easy, and it can be done within minutes, and it can then be connected with any of the suggestions that are there, and we can proceed with the development over there. And these are some things that what I wanted to show as an example inside the demo part for today under the AI Copilot. And with that, I am stopping in for Q&A. Yes, almost time.
Yeah, thank you, Bhargavi. That was an amazing session. Got to know a lot about the Power Platform and how Copilot is kind of aiding by providing this awesome AI assistant. So we do have a couple of questions. So I'll take one by one.
Yeah, sure.
So just out of curiosity, I always wonder. Now we have Copilot kind of integrated in all of these platforms, whether Power BI, Power Platform, a lot of automate and all that. How do you choose one based on the use case, uh, or do you have a proper strategy when you're working generally?
Okay. How do we choose? Basically, is
Let's
something
say,
like
for example, you get a client with a particular use case,
yeah.
and then they suggest, okay, which tool do we go? What do you suggest? Which is better? So, do you keep certain criterias when choosing one, or you just randomly go with your experience or something?
Absolutely. We have a strategy being built on it, right? Like, if it's something based out of application to be built, then we would be going with the application kind of the copilot that what we want to have. And if it's something like a repetitive one, and that needs a requirement that has to be done for it, like a process has to be developed for it, then we can go ahead with the robotic process automation. Or if we want to integrate all of these things, like if we are getting an file, and that file has to process an information by itself, and that insights has to be done, then what we can do is like we can build the application inside the Power Apps, and that can call the Power Automate, and that can get the insights with the help of the Power BI. And it totally depends on how how is your user requirement being there, and for which kind of requirement that what we try to do. And we don't have to incorporate almost all the things, like it's like we have to shorten the work, is what the low code no code platform as a whole does. And if we are trying to put in everything together, then that becomes a mess as well. Like, we have to choose on which one do we need based on the requirement, and decide on it, is what. my suggestion would be.
Absolutely, agreed, Bhargavi. There's a lot of things we kind of have to follow before choosing
Yeah.
one, and that might not work in all scenarios as well. So we got to
Yes.
wisely choose it. So
Yeah.
we do have a couple of questions as well. So the first question is from I'm just randomly picking it up. So Ankur Agarwal says, "How suppose we've got an app by Copilot, and how do I add our data to it?"
Okay. Maybe there is an option inside the Copilot itself, like how, like, add data is something which the uh, which the Power Apps gives you as an option. And from there, when you go ahead and when you want your data to be added, or when you want to consume the data that what the Copilot gives you, then you can go ahead with it, and from there you can uh, get those things being used, is what I would suggest you with.
Okay. All right. And the next question is from Sri Devi Suganya, sorry. Sri Devi Suganya. She talks about, she has a couple of questions. So the first one is about the pricing of this Copilot and Power Platform. So do you have a link about the pricing factor, or do you know how much the pricing cost?
Okay, pricing part is something like, for now, the Power Apps Copilot and the Power Automate Copilot is in preview state, and it is in free for almost that what, when you have the when you have the license for it, then you can go ahead and consume it. But maybe there might be changes, and I would certainly recommend you to go ahead with the whole thing of Power Automate, like on the learn more we have a solution document being available, right? And when we read it, then it also covers on the various part of pricing, as well as like how to get the license for Power Apps and Power Automate as well. And it also provides a certification at when you complete it at the end of the course, that what we try to do as well. So I would certainly recommend you to get that being done as well. Yeah,
Absolutely. So, in the meantime, if you could find that link and kind of share it, that would also be great. So, I'll go
sure.
pick up another question in the meantime. Okay, we have a question by Sri Devi again, who kind of ask a very hypothetical question. Okay, verifying hallucination means manual check by the developers, or is there any system provided by Microsoft? I think you spoke about this context, so she has a question for you.
Okay. It's like manual check by the developers for now. We don't have any kind of system provided check being available right now by the Microsoft, to my knowledge at least. Like we when we are okay with the kind of the flow that what we are trying to do, or when it at least fits in the requirement that what we try to develop as well, then we can go ahead with verifying the hallucination that what we try to develop for. Like say in case how say in case like uh, if we are if we are giving it to explain the whole document, even if we don't know the whole flow or how to build it from the scratch, then we can use the description, and from the description we can understand on each part or each component that what it tries to do, and from there we can understand it, is what my suggestion would be. And from there we can verify the hallucination.
Definitely. So Sridevi, hope the question has been answered. If you still need some clarification, definitely can connect with Bhargavi offline. You can ping her on LinkedIn. I hope I can give that leverage, right, Bhargavi, that
Yeah,
we can.
sure. I am
All right.
happy with connecting it.
Oh, great. So that's a yes from Bhargavi. In case if you need more details about it, you can just connect her on LinkedIn. So we leave the link in the comment section. I think Ankur has a follow-up question, which I'll take it as the last question before
Yeah.
leaving the session. Since he was asking how do we get our apps by Copilot and how do we add our data to it. So he's come up with a very specific use case. Say he says, I have a website and I have 10 text boxes which takes value and stores in Excel. So he wants to get the app by Copilot or add it.
Okay.
So he asking how, like, how do we go ahead doing this?
If you have the 10 text box, that is something like you need to create, or it has to create by itself, then you can uh, you can type it under the prompt window that has been there, and from there it would be developing as a whole. Like, I can show up a demo right now, uh, or we are already running out of time, I
Yeah,
guess.
we're running out of
Uh,
time.
yeah. So what we can do is, like, you can type it over the prompt window that is there, and from there, when you type it on, when you click on OK, then it would be creating and giving you with the text boxes that what you need, along with the labels as well, and from there you can go ahead and use it.
Yeah. So the answer is yes, it's possible. It just needs some time to explain you with an example.
Yeah.
So feel free to ping Bhargavi on LinkedIn with the details that you're asking. Maybe she can quickly have a check and show you a demo or point out to a resource where she can help you doing something very similar thing. So definitely, it's a positive yes that you it is possible to add data to it from the Excel to your apps. So
Yeah.
on this note, I'm kind of winding up with the Q&A questions. So thank you so much, Bhargavi, once again for being an awesome speaker on the Power Apps. Really looking forward to it. And on a last note is just wanted to let you know that the Global Copilot Summit is on. We have completed with Bangalore and Chennai, and now we are moving on to Pune. So if you have any of your friends, colleague, or in case if you are available and want to meet us in person, it's an in-person event happening on April 20th. So you can follow the link. The team will post the link in the comment section again, and you can definitely watch out for more details, how to get registered, and how to do that. So just give me quickly a second. I will post the link for you so that you can start registering for it. So here goes the link, and so the link is on the way, and yeah, looking forward to having another exciting session next week, again on the Copilot Chronicles. And thank you so much for joining in, Bhargavi, and thank you, Rashmita, for being a great host, and thank you, team and folks, everybody, for joining in today. Bye.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you all.